On November 12th, Disney will launch their exclusive streaming service, Disney Plus, firing the first salvo of what will become one of the bloodiest, most brutal competitions in the world of media and entertainment. They will begin the great streaming wars. Netflix has evolved from a cute little niche DVD rental service into a tech behemoth, completely reshaping the way the world consumes entertainment. With over 151 million subscribers worldwide, Netflix has become a digital buffet trying to cater towards every niche taste imaginable and racking up tremendous amounts of debt to continue to feed their audiences endless appetite for content, with some estimating the debt to be as high as $20 billion to make sure you're stocked with new seasons of Stranger Things. Largely, they've been unopposed, with a few challengers like CBS All Access, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, and I guess DC Universe counts as well. But none have gained much ground, and they all seemed like bit players compared to the cultural ubiquity that Netflix has attained. And now Disney, with the acquisition of Fox, maintains a literal stranglehold on just about every important and major pop culture brand. So the question is, in the coming streaming wars, who will win out? Will Netflix be able to fend off the competition, or will Disney, with its huge backlog of content, along with all the other brands like Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel, be able to topple the behemoth? Which brings up another issue. Are you going to Netflix and chill, or Disney Plus and
You gotta love what you got it back, yeah. Love just a 10 out of you, don't you grab it.
I'm greatly interested in this conflict for a number of reasons. First, I love being an observer of media and trends, and I also have skin in the game, seeing as I have a few shares of stock in both companies, so it's in my best interest for both of them to succeed. But at the same time, I think Netflix has become a bloated behemoth, a company that is trying to do too many different things to appeal to too many different people, and not doing a particularly great job of accomplishing any of them. Another thing I think Netflix keeps pushing that I'm not a huge fan of is their push for perpetuating binge culture and releasing all their TV show episodes at once. While I don't have anything against binge viewing in terms of the practice, and one of my favorite things is to get a group of people and sit around and binge a series together, with myself acting as a kind of content Sherpa. But as a content strategy, releasing 8, 10, or 13 episodes of a series all at once is one of the worst content strategies imaginable. Essentially, you take 10 weeks of potential water cooler conversation and discussion and pop them out all over a weekend, and anything that follows is just a series of diminishing returns. Netflix has always been notoriously tight-lipped about their metrics in terms of how many people are actually watching their series. They only reveal data when they have some big stats that they want to brag about. Like how many people watched Bird Box, Bright, or tuned into the latest season of Stranger Things. But the fact that they don't reveal data about their less successful programming feels like they've built a mansion on quicksand, and they're in an awkward position covering up their failures and wasted money on projects that don't bring in any new subscribers, but simply canceling their shows and hoping nobody pays attention as they get swept under the rug of search and discovery. For every big hit like BoJack Horseman or Orange is the New Black, there are dozens of pricey failures like the Wachowski siblings' Sense8, The Oa, Hemlock Grove, The Get Down, Marco Polo, all being very expensive misfires that have largely been forgotten in the larger cultural discourse. It doesn't help that a lot of Netflix projects don't really have a long shelf life. Typically, I'd say each big new series or movie has at most maybe a 2-week period after it launches before the discussion peters out completely. I mean, any of you out there still talking about House of Cards, the latest season of Stranger Things, or even goddamn Bird Box? And if I had to guess, probably not. Not to say that we haven't seen some big fandoms spring out of series on Netflix. Look no further than something like the passionate Voltron fandom, and at best these feel like quick bursts of light that are quickly extinguished because when you can enjoy everything at once, what else is there to really feel excited about? It doesn't matter if you're going to the best buffet in the world at Las Vegas, where you can have king crab legs along with lobster and filet mignon. When you're gorging on something in an unlimited quantity, it just makes it feel cheap. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good buffet and like gorging myself like anyone else, but the experience always feels kind of cheap without any kind of structure or design behind it. It doesn't help that a lot of Netflix series feel like they have a lot of filler content that's just designed to pad the episode's runtime. That was the issue with a lot of the mostly well-received Marvel shows. There were a lot of side characters who'd spend a lot of time talking but not really having anything interesting to say, almost as if the series was designed to let you play games on your smartphone or text or check Facebook before catching your attention with a big bloody fight scene. That's why I don't think we've seen a Netflix series take a hold of the cultural zeitgeist in the same way as something like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones did at their peak, where each episode would be discussed and dissected and created an entire cottage industry of different people giving their takes on it. Serialization, when something is released piece by piece, creates an anticipation for the next meal, and in the best case scenario can even go as far as building an audience as the series moves forward. While the Netflix model of all-at-once binge viewing is too similar to the theatrical model, where most films need to recoup 40 to 50% of their budget in the opening weekend to be deemed successful, because most movies don't play out as well as time goes on, and they lose theaters and relevance, and they can struggle in the later weeks after the release date. There are a few exceptions to this, but it's very rare for even the biggest blockbusters to hold on to the number one debut spot into week 2 or 3 at the box office, where they're eventually pushed out by other movies and lose screens as new releases take their place, which seems to be largely what happens, at least from a cultural perspective, with most Netflix streaming content. I don't have the numbers since Netflix will never release them, but that's what it feels like, at least as an outside cultural observer. This brings us to the Disney Plus method of releasing content going forward. Disney will not have as much content as Netflix, and they're not going to even try and compete with Netflix's output. What they are going to try and do to compete is by having a better product that's released pretty regularly. For each of their major TV series releases, they're planning on rolling things out episodically versus posting everything at once. This will be the first big attempt by an old media conglomerate to try and bring things back to how TV used to work compared to the digital disruption of the cord-cutting streaming services. The idea is that there will be less Disney Plus original series, but those series will be bigger and better than anything you typically see on Netflix. Disney is spending easily $10 to $25 million on an episode of any of the upcoming MCU shows like WandaVision or The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so each of these episodes will feel less like the Inhumans TV series or the Sci-Fi Channel TV level of something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or any of the DC Greg Berlanti-verse shows, and more along the lines of what you'd expect to see in a full-budgeted Marvel movie, only split up into 6 to 8 installments delivered on a weekly basis, and where you have big tentpole set pieces coming on a regular basis to the small screen, each one generating speculation and chatter. I can imagine that'll go a long way towards holding people's attention compared to the one-and-done binge viewing of the Netflix approach. While this won't be rolling out right away with the first Marvel series coming in fall 2020, we will be getting a taste of this when the first Disney Plus flagship series launches with The Mandalorian. We've already seen Disney reap the benefits, as the discussion of each episode keeps the series and Star Wars in general relevant. But Disney is certainly not messing around, and if this does well, it'll be an interesting prototype to what the future will look like, with each new Disney Plus flagship series featuring some kind of big moment that gets pushed out to the press, as Netflix struggles to get people to care about things that don't have the same sort of cultural cachet. In fact, when you look at the full might of what Disney's concocting and the valuable IPs they have to work with and see what Netflix has in the docket, the battle doesn't seem very fair at all. Alright, things aren't looking so hot. We just lost The Office and Friends, and everyone's pulling out their content so they can feature it on their own streaming sites. Disney's got the big guns coming for us. What do you got for me, Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos? What do we got coming down the pipeline that's gonna turn things around? Oh boy, wait till you see what we got on deck, Netflix CEO Reed Hastings. We're gonna knock them dead once they see this dream team we're building. Everyone's getting a Netflix subscription after they get a load of what we got brewing. We've got The Witcher TV series, the Magic the Gathering anime, another season of Stranger Things, the show that everyone loves based on all the stuff we mostly lost all the rights to, the live-action Cowboy Bebop TV series, which has been delayed indefinitely because John Cho broke his ankle, Bright 2, Bright Harder, and a complete new series of movies and TV shows from everyone's favorite writing duo, Game of Thrones creators, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the guys who literally just admitted that they had no idea what they were doing throughout their 8-year run on Game of Thrones and just stumbled into success. But wait, there's more! We also have the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender TV show, Warrior Nun, Disenchanted, and from the minds of BoJack Horseman, Tuco and Birdie. We canceled that one. We already canceled Tuco and Birdie. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot that we already axed that one. We're screwed, aren't we? Don't worry, the weebs are gonna save us. We're gonna win the day through all of our anime. Look at Adi Shankar, the guy who dresses like the Crow all the time. He knows what the kids think is cool. Anime based on video games, like Castlevania and Hyper Light Drifter. And who needs the Avengers when you've got the exclusive streaming rights to Season 3 of Nanatsu no Taizai, which is ranked as number 4 of the most binge-raced series in 2017. Right up there with the Defenders. We can't lose. It feels like there's too much stuff trying to appeal towards too many people, where the Disney strategy is to go big with well-known name brands and pump as much money as they can into them. We're already seeing them stretch their muscles with the numerous Marvel TV series that this time will actually be connected to the MCU thanks to Kevin Feige's most recent promotion as the creative director of not just Marvel Studios, but all of Marvel, including their publishing and TV divisions, putting an end to the civil war between him and Ike Perlmutter, while also ending the separate but not equal status of the several series that were ostensibly connected to the MCU, like Cloak and Dagger, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and The Runaways, and of course, all the Netflix Marvel series, which were supposed to be connected to the MCU, but never saw any greater crossovers with the larger MCU films or characters. So now, whenever the next big Avengers film rolls up, we might actually get to see Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk actually show up and fight alongside the main cast. While I think Star Wars is in need of a great deal of rehabilitation, the idea that we could get more seasons of The Mandalorian or other feature TV series of film-level budgets is very enticing. Disney is a very good collection of intellectual properties and one of the most efficient production pipelines in the industry. More money than God and probably the best roster of talent in terms of making mass market, mass appeal entertainment. They just have too much leverage where they can produce better things that stay in the cultural consciousness for a longer period of time, while the Netflix mode of throwing everything to the wall and seeing what sticks is lazy and sloppy, and ultimately what makes their high-profile entertainment, like the $200 million, 3-hour-plus opus like Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, feel less like a cinematic event and rather like takeout Chinese food you get on a lazy Thursday night. I mean, how many people are still talking about Breaking Bad sequel movie El Camino? It came and went in a literal weekend and has completely evaporated from the cultural consciousness. Not to say that all Disney Plus content won't fade from memory quickly, but I think at least for their very big TV series, releasing them episodically will get more bang for their buck and ultimately drive more people to subscribe. It won't be until fall 2020, but I think that we'll see this battle station become fully operational. So with so many different companies fighting for ever-decreasing amounts of time people have to watch all these shows, the streaming wars will become more brutal and bloody than ever before as each company attempts to construct their own Game of Thrones style hits. Because you need to appeal to the broadest audience and get the most attention possible, and with Netflix catalog original content coming across as all over the map trying to appeal towards too many people in too many different niches, I don't think it's a coincidence that they desperately try to hide the numbers behind how many people actually watching their series. Just because I don't think the data paints as rosy a picture as they'd like, and it's not a coincidence that they only reveal the numbers when they have something they really want to brag about, like Bright's opening view numbers, or last year when Bird Box became a cultural phenomenon for half a second before fading into the ether. Netflix will need a big hit and a new marketing strategy if they want to remain competitive with the Mouse House, because it's clear Disney is not messing around. And oh, who's that over there? Oh, Apple TV, how cute, that's adorable that you think you can use the iPhone money to try and compete. Well, you do you over there. We'll watch the big boys duke it out, and I'm sure the Blind Barbarian show with Jason Momoa is very interesting, and all the kids in Brooklyn and Williamsburg are supposed to love the hipster Emily Dickinson show, so it's not Netflix and chill anymore, it's Disney Plus and because as a little green Jedi might say, begun, the streaming wars have. Thanks for watching the video and hope you enjoyed it. Let me know which corporate streaming overlord you've pledged fealty towards. Are you team Netflix and chill or Disney Plus? Or maybe you really like Apple TV's C. Let me know your opinions because I am always reading them in the comment section, and I'd like to give a special thanks to my first and only patron, Joseph Malty. Yes, that's right, I made a Patreon in secret with greater plans to launch it, but Mr. Joseph is the first member of the Lobster Pot who managed to discover it all on his own without me even having to plug it. So if you'd like to join him, go and look it up and find it yourself. I'll be making a more detailed video talking about my Patreon soon, so I'll save the pluginating for that in the future. But thank you, Joseph Malty, for being my first and so far only patron. You're the best, and I'll probably keep on thinking of other ways to keep on saying that at the end of each video, so thanks for sticking around, and remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.